Beloved, all the issues, the obstacles, and the barriers I have listed, those which are communal and those which are individual, have one thing in common. And that thing is that they have death written all over them. Now, I figured I'd lose a few folk in the house, so please just walk with me a little bit as we try to unpack this thing. You're probably thinking your new pastor-elect is a little bit crazy, but let's just go ahead and try to work this thing out. Are you going to walk with me today?
Yes.
Well, you see, Tabernacle, I believe that we cannot overcome any of our hardships until we overcome the death sentence that has a grip on us. Let me break this down. We know what death is. Death is defined as destruction. Death is defined as the end of life. Death is defined as extinction, and in addition to it, a sentence in the legal sense of the term is defined as an authoritative decision, a judicial judgment or decree, especially the judicial determination of the punishment to be inflicted on a convicted criminal. If we put these two separate terms together, a death sentence implies or means that we have been found guilty of a crime that is worthy of death. Sisters and brothers, we may not want to hear this on today, but there is a death sentence, our primordial fall. That is when our primordial parents, Adam and Eve, messed up. When they decided to allow the serpent, the devil, Lucifer, Beelzebub, Satan, the evil one, when they decided to be deceived into accepting a death sentence, we all were marked with death. For you see, beloved, this transfiguration of Jesus, his literal transformation in the face of his three closest disciples, lets us know a couple of things. First, it lets us know that these patriarchs of the Old Testament are not resting purely in the Sheol as the Old Testament Jews believed. In other words, in the Old Testament time, they believed that the body went into the Sheol, or a watery grave place. But notice Jesus is showing these patriarchs are not in the Sheol, but they are in the presence of God. What are you saying, preacher? I am saying that Jesus is showing the disciples that I am going to cause something to happen, God. What are you saying, preacher? I am saying that Jesus is showing the disciples that I am going to cause something to happen where even the saints of old will be brought into my presence. But wait a minute, Moses and Elijah are very significant because Moses represents the law and Elijah represents prophecy. Now think about this for just a moment. Jesus says, I have not come to destroy the law or the prophets, but I have come to fulfill them. So what the Lord is showing is, even as Elijah and Moses are in conversation, he is demonstrating they were a foreshadow of what was to come. In other words, Moses had a piece of it. Elijah had a piece of it, but I am the fulfillment of all of it. Peter, James, and John get so full on the mountain. They get so excited about what they are seeing that old outspoken Peter says, teacher, why don't we build, and my King James readers will know, 3 tabernacles. Hello, tabernacle. Why don't we build 3 tabernacles right here? Or 3 shelters, or 3 pavilions, or 3 places of worship for each of you. Now, as soon as he says this, God the Father speaks regarding his son and says, this is my son whom I love. Listen to him. When the Father speaks, there is no one left but Jesus alone. To suggest that even Moses and Elijah, over all of the noise, over all of the chatter of folks and competing interests, and you have decided that you are Jesus and Jesus alone. Yes. And so it is you and me for life. if we can't give them life, we are wasting their time.
Hallelujah.
There are people experiencing calamity in their life.
Yes.
And if we cannot direct them to Jesus, we might as well take off our collars. We might as well take off our robes. We might as well lock up our churches. We might as well go home